Hey y'all, it's Joey Richardson. I want to talk about my favorite college football team, the Georgia Bulldogs. Just looked at the depth chart and it seems really accurate. And of course, Jake Fromm did not have to compete to keep his starting job, but still worked hard to make sure he could improve. He he did throw a touchdown in his first game, and I'll get to that. But I think what really is going to make a difference is this running game. I would have done a preview before the first game, but I wasn't so sure how the starting lineup was going to look. So I guess I had to find out by watching the first game, and offensive line looks really good right now. Of course, Ben Cleveland isn't starting at one of the guard spots, but that's because Cade Mays emerged and won the starting job. But if you watched the Vanderbilt game, you obviously saw that Ben Cleveland still rotated in for Mays on some series, and even got to stay in after a successful series. So there was a back and forth between those two. The other offensive lineman spots, I didn't notice it as much. But I do know Kirby wants to keep Ben Cleveland happy since Mays is younger. So the offensive lineman, it gets big. The average size gets bigger when Cleveland's in the game. Mays is only 318, but I think Cleveland's like 340. That's a big. They're both big, but you gotta admit, K Mays is probably the starter because, well, he's a very aggressive offensive lineman. But he probably needs to get out so Van Cleveland, who's the bigger guy and a proven blocker as well, can kind of give each other a break from time to time. So, but yeah, Cade Mays, if you don't know who he is, his daddy played for Tennessee, and his younger brother is actually committed to Tennessee. I wish we could have gotten Cade's brother, but I don't think his brother is near the caliber that Cade is. So, in the center spot, well, the center spot went to a guy who was recruited as a guard. I'm surprised that I didn't see the 5-star freshman on the depth chart. The backup to Hill, or whatever his name is, the guy that was, I think his name is Trey Hill. Yeah, Trey Hill. He was recruited as a guard and he's starting center. But his backup is a redshirt freshman, Warren Erickson, who I thought should have played center last year, but they wanted to redshirt him so they wouldn't have to. They probably don't want to burn a redshirt on the 5-star guy, and he'll probably see a little bit of game action. Clay Webb, the 5-star guy, he didn't even win the job or even win the backup job. I think Kirby's trying to redshirt him too. So, yeah, I mean, a couple guys Kirby does redshirt on the offensive line. Not all of them got the redshirt, unfortunately, last year. And some of them are stuck being backups with somebody who might leave early or leave when they leave. I'm surprised there hasn't been transfers on the offensive line yet. I mean, I've only known of one guy transferring out since Kirby Smart's been there. Well, one guy who lost his starting spot. I think Kendall Baker may have transferred out, or either his eligibility ran out, one or the other. I don't know. He was a starter Kirby's second year, and he ended up losing it after Kirby's second year as the coach. But so we got quarterback Jake Fromm, and his backup is Stetson Bennett. I think he played for Pierce County before going to UGA as a walk-on. Then he went to a community college, and him and Fromm both are juniors. So, not sure if Stetson Bennett's going to be happy being a junior behind another junior Fromm. It would all depend if Fromm ends up leaving or not. But I'm glad to have Fromm starting because he's already started 2 years and this is his third year as a starter. And as far as running backs goes, it's no surprise that DeAndre Swift is starting. And Harrion did end up with a backup role. I figure with Holyfield in the NFL, or had left for the NFL, that Harrion would end up carrying the load, and he certainly has, as a backup, of course. But I mean, and Zeus, he had 51 yards on so few carries. I mean, it was quite a good big deal to see Samir White get some carries and get 51 yards in a small amount of carries. He shows some potential that could prove to be a big deal later. And Cook, again, he saw some carries as well. James Cook, brother of NFL running back Dalvin Cook. He's so I think all four backs that were on the depth chart are pretty much playing. They all saw action, and as far as wide receivers goes, Tyler Simmons, he had experience, but he was like he's a senior, I think, or something like that. He, after Holloman's arrest and being kicked off the team, I guess Simmons was one of the guys to step up. Robinson is another starter who stepped up, and then you got, gosh, what's his name? Can't even remember now. Would have to look at the depth chart again, but Robinson and Simmons are the main ones I know about, because Robinson actually ended up redshirting, even though he was eligible to play immediately last year. He didn't play more than 4 games, so therefore he got the red shirt. I don't think he was ready to have a big role with the team last year. So Robertson, good for him to show that he can catch football, because he caught Fromm's only TD pass of the game. But yeah, and on defense, it's good to see that the defense, with that guy transferring to Florida, Renton Cox was good, but he transferred to Florida, and the defense did their part in holding Vandy to 6 points. And a Chris County guy is actually one of the backups at the inside linebacker position, Quay. He's a backup, but he's still going to play, and he's going to hit some people. I mean, I saw him in high school. I know how good this kid is. He's really going to be something special for Georgia. But there's a lot of young guys who are good at the linebacker spot. And one guy I want to mention, because he did see a little bit of time towards the end of the game. I'm surprised this guy, I don't know if it's because of his race or whatever, but Nate McBride, he deserves to play more in my opinion. He's a good speed linebacker, and he does play special teams a lot. He has played mostly special teams, but he does see mop-up duty at inside linebacker when Kirby decides to put some of the defensive guys who don't play much out. I do expect to see more of McBride playing linebacker, though it may not happen against every opponent. If they can put the score up on some people, they may go unload the defense a lot and let the other team get garbage points, which I'm not worried about the next 2 games so much with the defense or the offense. But Notre Dame, after the next 2 games, they'll have Notre Dame at home. I think it's in Athens. Yeah, I'm not sure if Notre Dame is really as scary as people are thinking they are. I mean, I saw Notre Dame's game, and I thought the quarterback could have done a little better, but hopefully he doesn't catch fire against Georgia's D. And yeah, so they did beat Vandy 30-6, and people thought Georgia played a little flat. I agree. They could have done better. I'm sure it being the first game, good thing it was Vandy. And it still ended up being a 30-6 score. So I'm ready to see what happens with these next few games. I'm pretty sure Fromm was 14-23 with one TD. I don't even think he threw an interception in the game. But Fromm could have played better, I thought. He had chances to get more TD passes and he just blew it. But some people say he's a game manager. I think he has potential to be more than a game manager. Now, I ain't going to argue with Georgia fans on the Georgia page about whether or not Fromm's a game manager, because there are games where he looks like a game manager, but then there are games where he doesn't look so much like a game manager, where he looks like he can definitely take the offense over. But I do believe with the run game Georgia has, they'll probably mix it up, I would say, but Georgia needs to be able. I think Georgia is fine running with the football. I really do feel like Georgia should still run the ball quite a bit, but also throws some too. The way they played against Vandy, I thought they did a good job. Of course, settling for 3 field goals. Georgia did kick 3 field goals, but of course, I think there could have been more touchdowns, but it was Vanderbilt, and they are an SEC team. Georgia had opened up against Vandy in Nashville. That'll definitely UGA fans took over in Nashville, and that was a good sight to see. And my friends have posted pictures of them in Nashville, so it's good to see they enjoying themselves in Nashville for the game and stuff. And I'm happy for them because I can't afford to go to any Georgia games. Although I wish I could go to one. But I like watching it for my TV anyways. Of course, I just want to say Georgia definitely has room to improve. Yeah, that's every team though. Even Bama probably has room to improve. But I ain't going to get into Bama. I just know Georgia needs to whoop their butt if they play each other this year. If it's in the conference championship game, Georgia needs to be ready. But Georgia has a long ladder to climb before getting to that game if they make it. I do think the Eastern side of the division, South Carolina lost to North Carolina in a close game. But then Georgia State beating Tennessee. I'm sure Tennessee is going to be able to beat some teams, but it doesn't look good for Tennessee. I'm sure they will be able to beat some teams, but I would prefer Georgia to beat them pretty decently. I'm sure all the teams that lost in the Eastern Division will improve. I mean, Florida won a close one the week before everyone else played, but I think Florida will be ready for Georgia, and I think that goes for every team in the Eastern Division and the Western Division teams that play Georgia. I think Georgia will be ready. It'll be a dogfight unless Georgia's somehow able to come up with more plays and more scores. But I'm excited about this season. But oh yeah, Matt Landers is the third wide receiver. He's 6'5". He's a big guy. Cager, who transferred from Miami, he is actually not even the starter on offense right now. Of course, him coming from Miami to Georgia, he's probably still trying to get used to Georgia's offense. But he did play some anyways. The receivers rotate in and out. They did that under Mark Richt, and they're still doing it with Kirby Smart there. And I do believe in our offensive coordinator, James Coley, who got promoted to full-time offensive coordinator after sharing duties with Jim Chaney, who went to Tennessee. That kind of tells you, sums up Tennessee there. They got Jim Chaney, didn't have the talent that Georgia had, and they lost to Georgia State. But Georgia winning 36 over Vandy kind of makes me. I think the teams that didn't do so well their first week of games, they'll be ready for Georgia. Georgia, the ones that are playing Georgia, will be ready. I'm pretty sure Notre Dame will too, and any other team that's on Georgia's schedule. But I'm gonna take it one game at a time, and hopefully, we can expect Georgia to go back to the conference championship and maybe this time actually knock off Bama. But let's not get our hopes up too fast yet. Georgia's got a lot of games left, and we should see what happens. But if you like the Dogs, I might not do it every week. I don't know yet. But let's just say Georgia's got a lot of work to do. But I do believe Georgia will be the team to beat in the East. I really do feel that way. And if you're a Georgia fan watching this, you know you want Georgia to win the conference just as bad as I do and possibly make the playoffs. I mean, it won't be an easy road, but we gotta trust in our Dogs. And for those who aren't UG fans who just want to tune in, just don't give me any hate, alright? You can just watch. You can watch. If you're a non-Georgia fan watching this video, just know that I don't hate on your team, and I really don't. I know it's just y'all probably want to watch to see how good I talk about my team. So thanks guys for watching, and don't forget to like, and if you want to subscribe, you can do that. And just go Dogs, and see you next time. Bye bye.